CNN exclusive reporting shows that Navy Federal Credit Union has the widest disparity in conventional mortgage approval rates between white and black borrowers of any major lender. This is the nation's largest credit union. It serves military members, defense personnel, veterans, and their families. And CNN's Renee Marsh found that it rejected more than half its black conventional mortgage applicants last year.
But it really is a nice neighborhood, you know.
Bob Otondi, a Kenyan immigrant turned Texas entrepreneur, knew this was his dream home the moment he saw it. It's in a highly sought-after school district that his son so desperately wanted to attend for its basketball program.
So how many homes did you look at before you found this one and said this was it?
We had about 6, but this was the one that we all wanted, and we were all praying to get this one.
Otondi's first choice for his mortgage was Navy Federal Credit Union. It services military members, defense personnel, veterans, and their families, and is the largest credit union in the country. I
was the CEO of my company, so I had a pretty good income.
Your credit was in the 700s. Mm-hmm. You'd recently sold your house. Mm-hmm. You had $100,000 for the down payment, which was more than 20%.
Correct. I mean, what more could you ask for?
CNN reviewed Otondi's financial documents. He even had a pre-approval letter from Navy Federal in hand. But just 2 weeks before closing,
I got a denial. They sent me a letter saying, "We're sorry, but your application has been denied."
Were you stunned, surprised?
I mean, I was stunned. I was shocked. I was hurt.
The denial letter listed excessive obligations in relation to income as the reason.
When they denied is when we came back and said, oh man, there's something else going on.
And what did you think that something else was?
Discrimination.
But it wasn't just Otondi. Thousands of other black applicants were also rejected. According to a CNN analysis of federal consumer protection data, last year, Navy Federal Credit Union only approved 48%. That's less than half of its black applicants for conventional home mortgages. White borrowers were approved more than 75% of the time. It's the biggest gap among the top 50 lenders. The data also shows Navy Federal was more than twice as likely to deny black mortgage applicants than white ones, even when different variables, including income, debt, property value, and down payment percentage, were the same.
I feel validated at one point, but also I feel a bit of anger because it shouldn't be happening.
2 weeks after Navy Federal rejected him, another bank approved Otondi for a mortgage. Navy Federal Credit Union denied CNN's request for an on-camera interview. In a statement, it said it is committed to equal and equitable lending practices and that CNN's recent analysis does not account for major criteria required by any financial institution to approve a mortgage loan. That includes credit scores, which are not public. Navy Federal declined to provide additional data. We asked Navy Federal why Bob Otondi's loan was denied, but they declined to comment, citing member privacy. CNN's analysis does not prove discrimination, but it does show dramatic racial disparities in who Navy Federal rejects and approves for conventional mortgage loans.
The black-white homeownership gap and the Latino-white homeownership gap today are both wider than they were in 1968 when we passed the Federal Fair Housing Act.
Lisa Rice has spent decades as a fair housing advocate. She says the disparities in Navy Federal's lending data are alarming and an extreme example of a bigger problem.
It's definitely a larger systemic issue. And we know that we have a long history of redlining and a long history of lending discrimination in this nation. Well, all of that data that is sort of tainted with bias is being used to develop the credit scoring systems.
We got the house, thank God, and we moved on. But what about the ones who are denied? What about the ones who now can't get their own dream house? It's something that's going to affect the generation all the way down to their kids.
Well, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which oversees consumer lending, says that they do not comment on specific institutions, but they do conduct their own investigations to ensure that banks and credit unions are following fair lending practices. Jake.
What should people do if they think they have been discriminated against?
Well, you have your local housing and urban development, as well as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Those are two agencies in which you should file a complaint if you feel you've been discriminated against. I've had people reach out to me since we filed this story and said, should we avoid putting any demographic information on our documents? And the downside of that is that we then no longer have that data to track like we did with this story today.
Fascinating stuff. Renee Marsh, thank you so much. Horrible.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday. It's December the 19th. The year is 2023. Navy Federal. Navy Federal and several other banks, technology as technology has gotten better, we're able to see how banks are denying Black Americans loans. That's a very good report from CNN, and I went into deep depth, questioned how could the similar borrowers, same credit score, same debt, same income, down payment, how do blacks get turned down so frequently for a mortgage through Navy Federal than their white counterparts when things look on paper are equal, except for the skin color. I always tell people, if you apply for a loan, it asks you, do you want to disclose your skin color or your race or ethnicity? I always say decline and say no. Because there's always going to be somebody sitting in some desk somewhere looking at something and denying. Racism exists, and I think a lot of black folks, y'all live in a fantasy world about how evil these white folks are here in the United States. How do you think Donald Trump got into office? And God forbid all the black folks who voted for that racist motherfucker. It's like, okay, what's wrong with you niggas? But Navy Federal got caught. And Navy Federal is not the only bank that has participated, but by far this is probably the most widest gap ever. A large section of white folks, loans were approved. A lot of black folks were turned down. So if you wonder, this is why y'all have to understand why our neighborhoods look the way they look. Do you ever wonder why when we go into businesses in black neighborhoods and they're owned by all these foreigners? Don't y'all think black folks are trying to buy these gas stations or restaurants or businesses are trying to get a loan to open up a business in these neighborhoods? Do y'all know how hard it is to get a loan for a restaurant or business or any type of commercial loan in these black neighborhoods as a black person? Y'all know how hard to impossible it is? That's why you see all these foreigners who own all these restaurants, because they're capable of getting a loan or using cash, which is your best bet. And that's why when you look at our neighborhoods, we don't own very much, because the banks have denied us the right to a business loan or to even rent the space. Have you ever tried to rent commercial space in these areas? I have. They put you through hell. It's very complicated. And in many cases, they don't want to rent to you, but you live in the neighborhood. I remember I was trying to rent some space one time along Memorial Drive. The shit was empty for months. I said, let me go up here and see what's going on with these people. And I went through all this hell to try to rent that place. And finally, after they realized I wasn't going any place, they started coming up with all this outrageous shit that they needed to rent the space that sat vacant for years. Years. I'm like, this little space what is going on here? When I was refinancing this house recently, I literally had to hide. We had a couple of appraisers that came over here, some white appraisers that came in here, who reduced the value of my house drastically. So the last appraiser, the girl who was doing the loan, said, "Are you at that house?" I remember I called the appraiser. He said he was on his way. He's on 285. And the girl called me. The loan girl doing the loan was a black chick. She called me. She said, "Are you there?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You need to leave." She said, "Just leave the door open and leave." She said, "Yeah, I think I do need to leave." So I called her back. I said, "Hey, I'm leaving the front door open. The lights are on. I'm entering the house, turning on the lights on. Come inside, just appraise it. I'm up the street at my office and just let me know when you're done." By me not being here in the house that day, This man appraised this house at the highest number we had seen on this. Out of all the appraisals we did, and I had about 5 appraisals done at this point. 5. I had to pay for all of them. Finally, we got one that represented the true value of this house. But my black ass wasn't here. So we could have eliminated all that ruckus if the first appraisals had been done. I just hadn't been here. So I've learned from that experience, when you come down from the appraiser, come to your house, nigga don't be there. Nigga be gone. Poof. Unlock your door, let him in there. And go on about your business. And don't leave anything around that indicates that you are black. And the appraiser, he called me and said, "My God, this house is so beautiful." I guess for some reason, when people hear me on the phone, they think I'm white. I can't figure that out. When they see me in person, they say, "Oh, you big black nigga." They don't say it like that, but their face says it. Oh. It's like their facial expression say, "Oh, you're Walter Hampton?" Navy Federal saw them applicants applying for those loans, all them black folks. Navy Federal has a large black, they have a large black base of account holders. You ever been inside Navy Federal? I haven't seen all them black folks in there waiting in line. Yeah, I've been inside Navy Federal. So, listen. Navy Federal thought they were being slick. And here's the thing about it. This report has come out, and you would think there'd be a whole lot of hoopla about this report, by the way, Navy Federal. People should be closing their accounts, shutting Navy Federal down, protesting. Nothing, silent. We black folks have gotten so used to being denied shit. That's just part for the course, I said. But really, this report was earth-shattering, and people should say, okay, wait a minute. This is the nation's largest credit union, and they are systematically denying black borrowers the right to own a home who have the same credit scores, same down payments, same debt that their white counterparts have, but they're turning them down at a tremendous... Why? Well, we know why. We know why. They've been exposed now. We know. Welcome to Niggerville, y'all, where you can't even get a loan on your own house that you're trying to buy in Niggerville. That's why sometimes, when you do banking at a bank, sometimes it's best not to even disclose your race. I even go into them banks and let them see your black ass. That's how my bank account. My bank accounts have been closed. Every bank I went to, when they go into, they see my black ass and they go, "Okay, look at my account." They see all them zeros. They look at my black ass. "You got some ID, nigga? Is this you? Let me see that ID." They look at the ID. They ain't gonna be. We'll be right back. We'll be just a second. We're gonna run in the back with my ID and come back with 8 other people. They're all staring and looking. We're gonna need some blood from your ass too, nigga. Looking at every damn thing. Well, all these zeros come from, but this shit legit. And then they closed my account. I've had my accounts closed so many times, y'all. And a lot of people say, "Why they close your account?" Because banking while black, niggas. See, if you ain't got but a Social Security check and you living paycheck to paycheck, you ain't thinking about your poor ass. You ain't gonna fuck with you. But you got a lot of money and a bunch of zeros sitting up in there, and oh boy, they like, where did this money come from? You had to have robbed this damn bank. And they send you out the door. I've been kicked out of a lot of banks because of money in my bank account. I'm like, okay, what is the problem here? So what I've learned is I don't go in the bank. I don't want people to see me. I do everything online. I don't want the bitches to see me. I try to avoid going into the banks as much as possible. When they see my black ass, they see that money, they look at my black ass, they see that money, they look at my black ass, they look at my black ass, they look at my black ass. Nigga. How is this possible? So anyway, getting the refinance done over here in this house was a doozy. It did get done. Took 6 months. Took about 6 months. Various lenders before we got this thing done. I knew it was going to take some time. I just knew it. You know, as a black person, man, you just get used to shit. You say, fuck it. this is the way this shit gonna go. What can I do about it? What can I say? I don't even stress myself out about this shit no more, y'all. I just don't. Doing business in America as a black person is gonna be some bullshit, and most of the time it's beyond my control. What can I do? What can I say? Hit me what? What do you want me to do? You know, but I do think black folks definitely need to be out protesting about this scenario that's taking shape in regards to Navy Federal. Denying people mortgages. I applied through Navy Federal, was turned down. My loan was turned down. I ended up going someplace else. You know. Buying a house is a very simple process to do. You can't run off with the damn house. Buying real estate is easy. But you do have to find a bank that's willing to play ball with your black ass. Luckily, I know how to maneuver through the internet and find me places that will do business. You know, you can get whatever you want done. You just got to find somebody. They have a great, if you're looking to buy a house, inbox, we have a great young lady who helped me get my refinance. I recommend this woman to anyone because she worked diligently on this loan and got it done. She didn't stop. She didn't take no for an answer, and she got my refinance done. I'm very grateful to Tony. Thank you, Tony. If you're looking for, I was supposed to do a video with her because I was so grateful that she held in there and she got it done. It took some time, a lot of work, and she's so patient. When I was getting frustrated and mad, she was calm the whole time. She was cool as a cucumber. You know, talking to her was very soothing. Now, Walter, we're just going to package this up. We have everything we need. Don't worry. They turned it down here, but I knew we know what that problem is, and so we're going to put this together. And I have it with another person right now, and I'll call you back this afternoon. And what I like about her is she would call back that afternoon. I got that loan right over there with that person, and they're looking at it, and I don't think this is going to be an issue. And it took some time, you know. The interest rates when I wanted. She called me back in interest. I said, that shit high. And after a while, I said, Lord, I guess I got to take this higher. Any other break we got out there? She said, this is going to get. She's always calm. This is going to get, Walter. I swear if I can get you a better interest rate, you know I would do it. I've known her. And I've known Tony for 27 odd years. So, and she ain't trying to jip me. Rates are high right now. But I did do a refinance on this house. I got it closed. Thank goodness. But anyway. Navy Federal, a lot of black customers there. This news report didn't go far enough as far as I'm concerned because more people should have been more angry about this. Because more people should have been more angry about how Navy Federal has turned down so many black people. This is why our neighborhoods look the way they look, y'all. People are trying to buy their homes because maybe they're renting. They're trying to buy businesses. If we don't have banks willing to loan to us because of the color of our skin, the various appraisals I had done on this house, we're talking about they were hundreds of thousands apart in value. One was about $600,000 off. I was like, how is that possible? Because my black ass was here. About $600,000 off from what it should have been. But when I vanished and no nigga was here, we got it even higher than what we had it wanted. All because the black guy who owned the house wasn't there, my black ass. So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought this report was interesting. I wanted to share that with you all. And you all, sometimes we have to understand the world that we live in. Banks, redlining, going by zip codes. You know, I think a lot of people when they come to this house, for some odd reason, they think a white guy owns this house. Seriously, every time I go to this door, whether it's somebody from Comcast or anytime somebody comes out here, And I go to the door and say, hey. They see they're really expecting somebody white to be inside this house. I don't know why, but that's just maybe because it's a white neighborhood, sort of mixed neighborhood. Can't figure that one out. But I don't, they just assume someone's white living here. And I've had people say, and I had one guy came in here, he was what was he in here doing? I mean, he walked into the front door and he came out. Well, I can't remember what this white guy came in for. He came in, he said, oh my God, it's beautiful. He said, this is a multi-million-dollar house. He was just like, he just stood there for a second. And he kind of looked at me. And the first thing white folks, of course, want to know is, what do you do? And they look at like, what do you do? I'm thinking, like, what do I do? Man, you are here to fix this double oven. That's what you're here to do. Now let's get to work on this double oven. What do I do? Fix this double oven. I did get the double oven fixed too finally after 3 people came out and took my damn money. Double oven got fixed. I was going to replace it, but they finally got fixed. It was a double oven that was here. A double oven that was here that came with the house was new. But of course, a year into us using the damn thing, clunk out. I said, this damn thing ain't working right before Thanksgiving. So I had to call a series of people out here to fix it. And finally, I called Sears out. And they were able to fix the damn thing, which I should have called in the fucking first place. But to replace that double oven would have been about $3,000. So I said, fuck that shit, let me fix this damn thing. It is working fine now. So my double oven's back. Yeah, what do you do? The interesting part is when I'm walking down to the mailbox over here in this neighborhood, boy, they slam on them brakes. I got a 3-car wreck in front of my damn house. What is going on? They roll down the window. Hey, I've been meaning to stop. You don't have to stop. Keep going. Mr. Stopping, bro. Are you bringing a package here? Are you Uber or package Lyft or Amazon or something? I was meaning to stop. My wife was just there. White folks are a trip. And Navy Federal was dead as wrong. I would like to see something. I'd like to see a protest against Navy Federal because, y'all, if banks are allowed to get away with this type of denials of people for credit, we need credit to buy homes, to establish businesses, to do all kinds of stuff. And for businesses for a bank to turn down people based on the color of their skin, which is what they were doing. It's clear what they were doing. They were denying these loans based upon the color of the skin and possibly the zip code of the address of the property where the people were buying the house in black neighborhoods. They don't even buy, doing no loan over there. Now, I can imagine what Navy Federal was up to. They got caught. And they haven't said one word. And the reason they ain't said shit because anybody went in and closed them accounts. If black people rallied together and said, we need to shut Navy Federal down for their bullshit and closing damn accounts, and said, we taking our business someplace else, then maybe Navy Federal would make some changes. And quit just only giving loans out to them white account holders. It will be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few weeks. I've seen a couple more reports since then. This report happened maybe about a week ago. It's just, and I read the news articles. I'm saying, Navy Federal being the largest credit union, look what you're up to. It just makes you wonder. And y'all wonder why our neighborhoods look the way they look. Banks have to loan money for houses, cars, lines of credit. We need banks for neighborhoods to survive. Whether you don't want a loan or don't want the loan. Their business owners take out loans every day. And if banks are turning down loans I could imagine if they get, there have been other banks too that have been accused of this, who've had to settle massive fines, for redlining, denying loans in certain areas. Saw something with St. Louis, or some bank they're turning down loans in certain neighborhoods. And I want to say St. Louis, somebody sent me an article that I read, I couldn't believe my eyeballs when I was reading that shit out. Blatant it was, how blatant racism was in that bank. And their bank ended up having to pay these massive fines to settle this. And that they have to do a certain amount of loans. They have to, the feds are making them, forcing them to do a certain amount of loans in minority neighborhoods. Because clearly what they were doing was denying loans and doing shit that's illegal. But anyway, we'd love to hear y'all thoughts and opinions about this. And if you bank with Navy Federal, what you all think about this. Today is Tuesday, December 19th. The year is 2023. I'm out of here. I'm about to get dressed. I gotta go to the gym. I'm out. Bye.